Hi everyone, my name is Emily Gonzalez,
My name is Ariana.
and today we're going to go against animal testing.
What is animal testing? In simple terms, animal testing refers to the use of animal purpose for cosmetics, vaccines, medicines, soaps, hair products, and many other things. Animal testing is used to help us test run the effects of products on human bodies. This is a current list of brands and companies that include animal testing. Estee Lauder, L'Oreal, Johnson& Johnson, Clorox, Unilever, I don't know how to pronounce it, Always, Aveeno, Bic, Listix, Survey, and the list continues to go on. After going through this list, I noticed that many of these products include cosmetics and beauty products. Um, Most of them are just like household essentials, all kinds of things like that. It's animal testing is known to be cruel as it is as laboratory in the okay, save the animals. Animal testing is known to be cruel as it is ending the life of living species. Scientists are using animals as laboratory tools. It is said that the majority of the lives of these animals are simply wasted. Why, you may ask? In the previous presentation topic, I mentioned that mice had a 98% stability. That 2% difference can include illnesses that only humans can get. Illnesses like, I think, HIV, and so we wouldn't know the side effects on other animals such as mice and rabbits. Animal rights activists are trying their best to fight for animal rights because animals don't have a say in what's going on with their lives. They're simply just picked up and used in a laboratory. I do want to be tested just like humans. Humans have a mouth and we can actually speak and say, oh no, I'm against that. I don't want to be tested. Animals don't have that right or option, which is why animal rights activists want to fight for animal rights.
Come on. I don't know what's going on, but I'll cut it.
That hurts. That hurts. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's okay. We do it for the humans, right? They're far superior to us animals. They've even been to space. Have you ever seen a rabbit in a rocket ship? I don't think so. Point is, I'm not a space bunny. I'm a tester. My daddy was a tester. My mum, my brothers, my sisters, my kids, all testers. And they all died doing their job.
Don't want to be tested. They are just picked up and tested. They are gone. They go through pain more cosmetic and beauty products, which considering the life putting on isn't going to save your life. If it's that's understandable. But when it comes to cosmetics and beauty products, why don't we just use something that's sustainable, something that is vegan? It's unnecessary treatment just for looks. That's what I'm trying to say. The downsides of animal testing effective in terms of studies that are used for humans, but the amount of animals dying from all these tests are causing our environment to also be affected. All the chemicals they use in water.
Some history and background of animal testing. Did you know that Queen Victoria was an early opponent of animal testing in England, according to a letter written by her private secretary in 1875? The Queen has been dreadfully shocked at the details some of these animal research practices and is most anxious to put a stop to them. Soon after, the anti-vivisection campaign became strong enough to pressure lawmakers into establishing the first laws controlling the use of animals for research, and this was called the Great Britain's Cruelty to Animals Act of 1876. However, the UK was not the only one to do this. The US space program, after several years and several monkeys dying in unmanned space flights carried out during the 1940s, the first monkey to survive a space flight was Yorick, and he was recovered from an Araby missile flight in September 20th, 1951. That didn't stop there, though. Even after all of the deaths, the U.S. Department of Defense used 488,237 animals for their research and combat trauma training. This is live tissue training. In the fiscal year of 2007, the latest year for which data was available, which it included anesthetized goats and pigs with shotgun wounds, burns, and amputations for the training of military medics, which I believe is unacceptable, as we have other resources to use other than goats and pigs. We have other ways to calculate how to train military medics. We don't need to put animals through this, and it is just not humane, and we as humans have a responsibility to ourselves and to others, and that is not responsible whatsoever, and I believe it causes harm more so than good. Companies that don't test on animals and are cruelty free. This includes Dove, ELF, Herbal Essences, 100% Pure, Dr. Bronner's, Avita, 7th Generation, Bath and Body Works, Trader Joe's, NYX, Smashbox Cosmetics, Myers Clean Day, and many more. These are just some of the companies that don't use animal testing or cruelty-free. There are plenty of others. However, these products, there are cosmetics. Too Faced Cosmetics is one. It Cosmetics, Wet and Wild. These are all big name cosmetic brands that don't test on animals. It is something that it is possible to do. We don't need to stoop to the level of hurting animals. Most of the companies that are listed here are cosmetic, or they directly come in contact with the human skin rather than what they eat. It is a big part, and I think it's a huge step in the right direction for what we can see in the future. Did you know that 60% of all animals used in testing are used in biomedical research and product safety testing? By that, it means we are not testing just putting a dollop of lotion on them. We're not testing. These processes are when they take a syringe and it's filled with something, and they go to put it in the animal's eyes or they inject them with it. It is something that it does not feel right to do. There are other methods besides animal testing available, including computer programs and cell and tissue cultures. This why we ethically need to stop animal testing. Animals do not willingly sacrifice themselves for the advancement of human welfare and new technology. Animals' decisions are made for them, and they don't get a choice simply because they can't voice their own opinions or choices. They don't get to speak up and say, I don't want to do this, like we're allowed to. Animals are subjected to tests that are often painful and can cause permanent damage and even death. And they are never given the option of not participating in the experiment. They are chosen and then used, and that is all that there is to it. Animals have a basic moral right to respectful treatment, and they're not respected when they're being used as scientific pawns. When we take away a person's right to do whatever they want, to take away their choice, everyone looks down on it. But when we take an animal's choice away, people hardly blink. There are some that don't care at all, and others that care a ton. Personally, I feel like we need to ethically figure a system out so that this treatment of animals does not happen. It is disrespectful to their lives, and once they pass and continue on with the same treatment, it just leaves us with no room at all for error. The group's opinion of animal testing.
So I personally believe that animal testing has both a good side and a bad side to it. The good side is that some of these testing situations are for medical research. The life of these animals could be saving thousands of humans' lives. The bad part in all of this is that these little creatures don't have a say in anything. I'm up for research, medical research, using animals for medical research, because no one is going to volunteer to get something injected into them to see if it's going to work or not. And like I said before, animals have a shorter lifespan than us humans. But when it comes to cosmetics and beauty products, they shouldn't be put through that. If we want to look nice ourselves, we can be put through that treatment, because these bunnies don't use makeup. These rabbits don't use hairspray or anything. So I think that's just something that shouldn't be. We should end it there in the cosmetics and beauty part of it. For medical research, I'm all for it, but for cosmetics, not really. There's other options. We can use vegan-free things. We can support smaller businesses, because smaller businesses don't really go into animal testing. They're more like, I make it here at home, I use shea butter or whatever. It's not like they have all kinds of chemicals and things like that. So that's personally my opinion on animal testing.
So today I will be talking about both mine and Anna's group opinion of this. My name's Emily, by the way, and I believe that there is a need for animal testing. However, I feel that it needs to be done as humanely and ethically as possible. I completely agree with the 3 R's and the reduce, refine, and sorry, I'm blanking on the third one at the moment. However, I feel like those 3 together as a group work as a great system. It not only eliminates mass testing, 1 to 5 samples, as little as possible, would be the best. We don't need to over test, as it just causes more damage to animals. I think that if we continue to push on with the 3 R's, that it will benefit us greatly. I think we need to treat these animals in an ethical manner with as little pain and stress put on them as possible. But animal testing not only saves lives, but it can prevent more lives from being lost. There are plenty of animal testings that don't involve cosmetics, and I agree with Ariana completely that cosmetic testing is just a nuisance at this point, and it just continues to hurt us more so. We don't need to use it. It's not a necessity of life. Medical research, that is a necessity. However, we don't need to put makeup on our bodies. We don't need to use this. I think it's more so at this point just a want rather than a need, and it is not needed. Like the UK said, it is something that they have opened up in the past or they haven't used in the past 23 years. They just recently used it as they introduced new chemicals to a different product. So there were new chemical or new solutions and chemicals that they were using that have to be tested, and I understand that. However, we have a right as or they have a right as animals to not be completely abused when doing so. I personally, as reading from Anna's, I can't speak for her for myself. However, I will just read off of what she said. Anna says, I believe animal testing is beneficial. However, I also believe that there's a drawback to it. I think animal testing should be done for the research purposes and evaluating security of products being medically. I think the regulations of how these animals are being treated within animal testing should be treated with more care and cautiousness, since they too feel just as we do. And I completely agree. I couldn't agree more. I think we all have come to the conclusion, like, for medical purposes and medical testing, we all understand it. I think we just are completely against the cosmetic usage. There are ways to do it without there are companies that don't use animal testing in the cosmetic field. It is possible to do so, and there are other ways. There is the computer programming. There is the culture and the culture of cell and tissues. It's just a public opinion and getting that to phase through and get the regulations and more regulations and everything else for this. And to conclude our slides, this is the last of our works cited. We had numbers written down in the corners of the PowerPoint, if you may not have seen it, but we went through PETA to get the list of cruelty-free and animal testing-free. The Lone Star State Education Stop Animal Testing article, however, prevented a lot of this, and so did the animaltestingprocon.org History of Animal Testing website. They're both great websites to look into, and we highly advise you guys to do so to get your own information. Thank you.